Rain poured heavily over the city, blurring the neon lights into streaks of gold and red. She stood at the edge of the platform, her hands trembling as she clutched a letter that had arrived that morning. His words were still fresh in her mind, haunting her. "I can't let you go, not now, not ever." She was married, tied by vows and promises, yet her heart refused to obey reason. Memories of laughter, shared secrets, and stolen glances played like a bittersweet movie in her mind. Every drop of rain felt like a tear, echoing the turmoil inside her. The train approached with a deafening roar, a symbol of life moving forward while she felt frozen in place. Her mind raced, torn between duty and desire, knowing the consequences of even a single wrong step. She thought of the life she had built with her husband, stable but colorless. And then she remembered him, the one who never stopped believing in them, in what they had shared. She had met him years ago, on a quiet autumn evening, in a bookstore tucked away from the bustling streets. He had smiled at her over a pile of novels, and that smile had ignited a spark she didn't understand at the time. Conversations had flowed effortlessly, laughter had been easy, and in his presence, she had felt seen for the first time in years. Their connection was forbidden, fragile, yet undeniable, like fire dancing on the edge of ice. Life, as it often does, pulled them apart before it could fully bloom. She had married another, someone kind, reliable, yet he was never the one who stirred her soul. She buried her feelings deep, convincing herself it was for the best, for everyone. But some ties are stronger than reason, stronger than time. And in moments like these, she realized how much love could hurt. Every heartbeat reminded her of what she had left behind, even as she tried to move forward. He watched her from across the street, his umbrella barely shielding him from the storm. Seeing her again after all these years, in her wedding attire, broke something inside him. He had tried to move on, to live a life without the one person who had once meant everything. But fate, cruel or kind, had other plans, bringing them face to face in the most unexpected moment. He knew he had no right to interfere, no right to hope. Yet seeing her standing there, conflicted and fragile, he felt the old flame rekindle. He approached cautiously, not wanting to startle her, yet desperate to reach her. "I can't let you go," he whispered, his voice shaking under the weight of suppressed emotions. Her eyes met his, and in that instant, time seemed to freeze. The world around them vanished, leaving only the raw intensity of shared longing and regret. Memories of their past flooded her mind, unbidden and vivid. She remembered the night he had held her hand in the rain, promising he would always be there, no matter what. She recalled the stolen glances during late-night walks, when the world seemed to belong to only them. Every whispered confession, every smile, every touch had etched itself into her soul. She had tried to forget, to honor the vows she made, but some loves refused to fade. Her heart ached, torn between loyalty and desire, between what was right and what felt inevitable. She had imagined this moment countless times, fearing and longing for it in equal measure. Standing there, drenched in rain and emotion, she realized that love isn't always logical, and sometimes, it defies rules. She had to make a choice, but the storm inside her was louder than the one outside. He reached for her hand, tentative yet unwavering, a lifeline in the chaos of her thoughts. "I know you're married," he said, voice low, trembling, yet full of resolve. "But my heart, it hasn't moved. It doesn't want to." Her chest tightened at his words, a mixture of guilt and yearning tearing her apart. She wanted to run, to hide in the comfort of the life she had chosen, yet her feet refused to obey. He didn't ask for answers, didn't demand her to abandon everything, just to hear the truth of her feelings. Her tears mixed with the rain as she whispered, "I never stopped loving you either." They stood there, suspended in the storm, two souls bound by a love that had survived distance, time, and circumstance. And in that moment, they both realized that love, when true, is impossible to ignore. It wasn't about rebellion or recklessness, it was about authenticity, about being true to themselves. The rain became a curtain, shielding their private reconciliation from the world's judgment. Weeks passed, and the tension between duty and desire grew unbearable. She tried to keep up appearances, smiling and nodding, while her thoughts drifted constantly to him. Each night, she wrote letters she never sent, pouring her heart onto paper. He, too, suffered in silence, watching from afar, afraid of disrupting her fragile stability. But love, when genuine, has a way of demanding attention, refusing to be ignored. Their encounters became fleeting, secret moments, shared coffees, stolen glances, and whispered confessions. Every touch reignited the fire, every smile reminded them why it had never truly died. They lived in a delicate balance, knowing the consequences, yet unable to resist. The world outside didn't understand, but they no longer cared. All that mattered was the truth between them, raw and undeniable. Her husband began to notice the subtle changes, the distant look in her eyes, the quiet sadness she couldn't explain. He was not unkind, but his heart sensed that she was slipping away, even if she couldn't articulate why. He confronted her one evening, his voice gentle but firm. "Is there something you're not telling me?" She broke down, unable to hide the turmoil any longer. Tears fell as she admitted the truth, the love she had never extinguished. His face softened with understanding, though it ached with disappointment. He had loved her genuinely, but he recognized that the heart cannot be forced. He let her go, with grace and sorrow, understanding that some loves are meant to be free, not bound. That moment of release was devastating yet liberating, like the first deep breath after being submerged underwater. The pain of honesty was worth the promise of authenticity. They finally met in a quiet cafe, away from prying eyes and judgment. She looked at him, nervous yet hopeful, as he reached for her hand once more. "I've waited for this day my whole life," he whispered, eyes glistening with emotion. She smiled, a mixture of relief, guilt, and love, knowing that the past could never be erased, but the future could be shaped together. They spoke for hours, sharing stories of their struggles, their regrets, and their lingering hopes. Each word brought them closer, stitching together the fragile fabric of their shared past and present. In those moments, they realized that love wasn't just about passion, it was about patience, resilience, and understanding. They had endured years of separation, but their hearts had never forgotten. Every heartbeat confirmed that they were meant to be, not as a fleeting fantasy, but as a lifelong commitment. Life outside the cafe continued, indifferent to their reunion, yet it no longer mattered. They found strength in each other, rebuilding trust and intimacy step by step. The scars of the past remained, but they were no longer chains, they were reminders of endurance and loyalty. They laughed, cried, and dreamed together, savoring each moment like it could be their last. Friends and family were wary at first, questioning the morality of their choice, but the sincerity of their love gradually won them over. She found freedom in honesty, and he found peace in finally expressing a love that had been dormant for too long. Together, they navigated challenges, knowing that no obstacle could sever the bond forged in adversity. Their love was no longer a secret, but a testament to the power of resilience and truth. Every glance, every touch reaffirmed that some connections are eternal, defying time and circumstance. He proposed to her under the same autumn sky where they had first met, the leaves turning golden around them. This time, there was no fear, no hesitation, only certainty and joy. She accepted with tears streaming down her face, overwhelmed by the journey that had brought them to this moment. They planned a small, intimate wedding, celebrating not just their love, but the triumph of patience, understanding, and courage. The ceremony was simple yet profound, a quiet acknowledgement of the battles fought and the hearts healed. They danced under the stars that night, wrapped in each other's arms, feeling the completeness of their union. Every step they took together was a promise, to honor the past, cherish the present, and embrace the future. The storm that once raged in their hearts had finally cleared, leaving only calm and clarity. They had chosen each other, not recklessly, but with deliberate, unwavering devotion. Years later, they often sat by the window, watching the rain fall, reminiscent of the night everything changed. They shared stories of trials overcome, of love lost and regained, of the delicate balance between fate and choice. Their children played nearby, unaware of the storm their parents had weathered, yet thriving in the love it produced. She would sometimes glance at him, heart swelling with gratitude, knowing that letting go had once been the hardest step. And he would smile, remembering the nights of silent longing, of hope clinging to despair. Together, they understood that true love is not about possession, but about patience, courage, and faith. Every challenge had strengthened them, every tear had shaped them, and every smile had healed them. They had learned that love can survive everything, even when the world demands surrender. And in their embrace, the past, present, and future existed in perfect harmony. Time passed, but the intensity of their love never waned. They faced ordinary struggles, work, family, health, but always together, as a team unbreakable. Each challenge reminded them of the journey that had led them here, deepening their connection. Friends marveled at their bond, calling it destiny, yet they knew it was more than fate. It was choice, determination, and unwavering commitment. Every morning, they greeted each other with gratitude. Every night, they whispered affirmations of love. Their story became an inspiration to those who knew them, a living testament to resilience and authenticity. Even in silence, their hearts spoke volumes, echoing the promises made long ago. They understood that love isn't about perfection, it's about acceptance, patience, and growth. And in that understanding, they found a peace that surpassed fleeting passion. They had survived the impossible, proving that some loves are simply meant to endure. She often thought about the journey they had taken, about the nights of longing and the courage it required to embrace truth. She had learned that love cannot be confined by social norms or fear, only respected and nurtured. He had learned that patience and faith could preserve something precious against all odds. Together, they had transformed heartbreak into a foundation for a love stronger than ever. Their story was not a fairy tale, but something far more profound, a testament to human resilience and the power of connection. They celebrated small victories, cherished mundane moments, and faced hardships with unity. The world outside may have judged them, but inside their hearts, they had found complete freedom. Every glance, every touch, every shared laugh was a celebration of survival and triumph. They had been tested, torn, and tried, yet emerged with a love unshaken. And in their unity, they discovered that love, once truly found, never fades, it only grows deeper. The night before their wedding anniversary, he handed her a letter, reminiscent of the first one he ever wrote. Her hands trembled as she opened it, tears welling in her eyes at the familiar handwriting. It spoke of enduring love, of challenges overcome, and of gratitude for every shared moment. It reminded her that life's storms are temporary, but love, when true, is eternal. She hugged him tightly, feeling the warmth of a love that had survived years, mistakes, and uncertainties. They danced in the living room, rain pattering softly on the windows, mirroring the stormy night that had started it all. In that moment, she realized that the hardest decisions often lead to the most profound joys. He held her closer, whispering promises of continued devotion and endless companionship. They laughed, cried, and held each other, knowing that they had truly found home in one another. Love, after all, had won, not by chance, but by persistence, courage, and unwavering faith. The years went by, but the intensity of their connection never diminished. They traveled together, explored dreams, and faced challenges hand in hand. Every wrinkle and gray hair became a marker of time spent together, a badge of shared memories. Their love was no longer fiery and impulsive, but steady, deep, and comforting. It became a sanctuary from the world's chaos, a place where they could be fully themselves. They often spoke of the stormy night when fate brought them together once more, marveling at the journey they had endured. Their children grew up witnessing a love that was both passionate and enduring, learning lessons about honesty, courage, and devotion. Friends and family celebrated their bond, seeing it as a rare gem in a world of fleeting connections. They had discovered the ultimate truth, that love is not about ownership, but about presence, patience, and unwavering support. And in that truth, they found peace, joy, and fulfillment. In the twilight of their lives, they often sat on the porch, holding hands and watching the sunset. The city below moved on, oblivious to the love story that had unfolded through years of trials. They had faced heartbreak, societal judgment, and personal struggle, yet never let go of one another. Their hearts were full of gratitude for the journey, for the storms endured, and the love preserved. Every glance was a reminder of the night they had reunited, of courage and choice, of patience and hope. They often whispered to each other, recounting moments that had seemed impossible to survive. Their love had matured into something eternal, unshakable, a testament to resilience and devotion. Even in silence, they felt the profound connection that had carried them through decades. And when their hands finally released one another, it was with the quiet certainty that their souls had never truly parted. They had loved, lost, and found each other again, proving that some hearts are inseparable, no matter the circumstances. And as the rain fell gently on that final evening, she leaned her head on his shoulder, feeling the warmth that had carried them through everything. "We made it," she whispered, tears glistening in her eyes, a lifetime of love reflected in their shared gaze. He smiled, holding her close, knowing that every struggle, every heartbreak, had led them here. Their story was not perfect, but it was real, raw, and beautiful, a love that had endured every test. They had discovered the ultimate lesson: true love cannot be denied, restrained, or destroyed. It survives, adapts, and grows stronger with every challenge. And as the world continued around them, they remained, together, heart to heart, soul to soul. Love, in its purest form, had triumphed. And in that triumph, they found everything they had ever sought: peace, fulfillment, and a lifetime of unwavering devotion.